This is QTV News. I am Mamudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. Coming up tonight, is the tax identification number really free? Having warmly welcomed the prospect of not having to pay a fee to obtain a TIN, it appears some are determined to make money from and subvert what was seen as a great goodwill gesture by the GRA. Following calls for his resignation from some quarters after a leaked letter showed the sought diplomatic passport for some family members, the Justice Minister has addressed the matter directly and publicly. As public sittings continue, the TRRC hears from 3 more witnesses about events and after effects surrounding the April 2000 student demonstration. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. The Gambia Revenue Authority's declaration that obtaining a tax identification number is free of charge was greeted as a goodwill gesture by Gambia's taxpayers. However, an investigation by QTV has uncovered possibly corrupt practices by some who call themselves agents of the GRA and appear to collaborate with Gambia Revenue Authority personnel. Mamadou Lamin Choi investigated, and this is his report.
In January this year, the Commissioner General of the Gambia Revenue Authority, Yankoba Dabo, disclosed that with immediate effect, the tax identification number is free of charge at any GRA office. At the time, the GRA boss said it had come to their notice that some people loiter around the GRA office gates, allegedly offering for a fee to provide TIN on the same day to those who come to the office to apply. He declared the practice as unacceptable and promised that action would be taken against anyone caught engaging in this fraudulent practice. However, the threat of corruption is in danger of taking the good out of the GRA's gesture, as the threat of action appears not to have deterred some. As a result, people calling themselves agents of the Gambia Revenue Authority have continued this lucrative source of income. They sit, not loiter, by the main gate of the GRA and intercept people coming in to apply for TIN and levy charges on them to facilitate the acquisition of documents within a short period. Having learned of this practice, an undercover investigation was conducted by QTV. This footage shows a group of men with tax identification number application forms walking into the GRA headquarters once attention is called and their quest to engage in a shady deal begins.
Yes,
how are you?
I'm fine, I'm good. And you?
How are you? Yes, I was asking, where exactly you have a TIN number?
Number is here. We can help you have it.
So how?
Well, TIN number is an appointment.
Appointment, for how many
Maybe
days?
next Monday, you come out, not Tuesday, you come and collect it. But if you want it now, we are agents, we can do it, you have it. So go sit down and we'll make it for you.
How much do I pay? So how much
It's 150.
do I pay?
150, yeah.
150. After agreeing to pay them $150 for a smooth processing of the document, they ask for one's telephone number, mother's name and ID card, a birth certificate or passport to fill in an application form. The agents promise to provide a TIN within 30 minutes. They seemingly act as middlemen between applicants and the GRA office, taking advantage of people's reluctance to wait long periods for their applications to be processed. These so-called agents trap the innocent applicants into dubious deals on the promise of an expeditious processing of their applications. A week before this day, I submitted an application form for a tax identification number at the GRA office and was given close to 1 week as the processing period. When I returned on the appointment date, I tried to test the effectiveness of the agents. Lo and behold, less than 30 minutes after going through their own processing, a bona fide TIN number landed in my hands. The question one may ask is whether these agents are staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority or simply in collusion with some GRA staff. What is evident is that they cannot be working alone. How else can one explain their ability to turn around applications with such speed? The GRA's tax manager disowns the agents, saying they do not fall under the GRA legal definition of an agent. According to the manager, when applicants are plenty, they have to give appointments in order to perform thorough checks and process the documents correctly. He also added that weak internet connectivity can cause delays during the processing. However, having passed through both processes, evidence appears to suggest that the agents and some unscrupulous GRA personnel connive in carrying out this seemingly corrupt practice. Applying through the agents, I got a tax identification number on the same day. By applying through the right channel, I was given an appointment to come back by personnel of the Gambia Revenue Authority. We will keep monitoring to see whether this practice will ever be stopped. Mohamed Lamin Choi for QTV News.
Following the leak of his letter requesting diplomatic passports for some of his family members, the Minister of Justice Abubakar Tambedu has sought to clarify the matter. In doing so, the Justice Minister says that the diplomatic passports are not meant for diplomats. Mohamed Lamin Choi reports.
Recent weeks have witnessed various leaks of information about alleged diplomatic passport fraud involving members of the public and public officials. A letter requesting diplomatic passports by the Minister of Justice for some of his closest family members had gone viral, being shared on conventional and social media. Public attention and criticism have prompted the Justice Minister to react, emphasizing that he will never again comment on the matter. In a letter addressed to the Secretary General, Office of the President, the minister last June requested diplomatic passport for 5 of his family members. Despite public criticism about this, the minister had stressed that there is public misconception as to who is and isn't entitled to a diplomatic passport. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the President can unilaterally decide who to give a diplomatic passport without going through the Foreign Ministry. Minister Tambedu says that there was nothing to hide in his application. The Justice Minister, when further denying any wrongdoing for requesting diplomatic passport for his family members. After the arrest of some suspects by the police, the government had said that they have made some progress in the diplomatic passport scandal, saying that there will be no sacred cows when it comes to pursuing anyone found culpable. According to the government spokesperson, the progress in pursuing the matter includes arrest of some suspects in Germany, although the number was not specified, beyond saying there were dozens. Mohamed Lamin Choi for QTV News.
As the TRRC continues to probe into the April 2000 student protest, 3 witnesses, Mbemba Bari, Merikan Mendy and Awasane, on Tuesday appeared before commissioners. QTV's Ansumana Esonyasi tells us more.
3 witnesses testified on Tuesday at the ongoing TRRC public proceedings. Mbemba Bari, brother of the late Ibrahim Bari, American Mendy, former principal of Brikamba Junior Secondary School, and Awa Sane, widow of late Omar Barrow, all testified in relation to the April 2000 student protest in which more than a dozen students lost their lives while many others sustained life-changing injuries. First to testify was Sub-Inspector Mbemba Bari, brother to late Ibrahim Bari, who died in March 2000 after he was allegedly tortured by fire and rescue officers. He told the commission that his family suffered a great deal following the death of his brother. He alleged that his late father told him that the late Ibrahim was in severe pain when he returned home and was rushed to the hospital in Brikama where he was pronounced dead.
Condition that Ibrahim was, I understand he was exhausted. He looked like he was very weak. But what about the condition of his physical body?
When he came home, he was not himself. He was very tired. He could not even button his trouser or zip his trouser. People had to assist him. And he was constantly crying.
Furthermore, the witness alleged that his brother's death has had a serious impact on the family as his parents died shortly after Ibrahim's death as a result of the trauma. Next to testify was American Mendy. The witness, who was principal of Brikamba Junior Secondary School at the time, told the commission that he traveled to Banjul after he was informed of a rape incident involving one of his students, Binta Mane. He alleged that doctors told him that Binta was indeed raped. Testifying further, he alleged that there was a student demonstration in Brikama on the 11th of April 2000 in response to government's failure to investigate the death of Ibrahim Bari and Binta Mane's rape.
Apart from Musa Kanaji, was anyone else, any other student shot as far as you're aware?
Yes. 2 other students of mine were shot. Usman Sabali was shot in the chest and he died. He was confirmed death upon arrival at the Bansang hospital, but I believe he died before reaching Bansang.
The final witness of the day was Awasane, widow of journalist and records volunteer Omar Barrow. In her testimony, she alleged that her late husband's death has had a serious impact on the family as he was the breadwinner.
Please tell us the condition of his body when you saw him.
Yes, when I entered, his face was facing the wall of the dead house. Then he was turned to face me. When they turned his head, I saw oozes of blood outside from his mouth, and the shirt he was wearing was blood stains all over.
At that point, when you saw him lying there helplessly, how did you feel?
I couldn't imagine it. He was at the last floor. I had to bend. I couldn't even stand up again.
The witness requested for an investigation to be carried out to determine the circumstances that led to her husband's death and to bring to book those responsible. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
From that report, let's now take a short break, and the news continues when we return.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
It's raining and you don't have credit? Just Ifan Kanta it. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is QTV News. The Ministry of Trade, in collaboration with ECOWAS, celebrated ECOWAS Day at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Lamin Dabo was there, and he now reports.
At the event, the Trade Minister Lamin Job spoke about the significance of the day.
The objective of this day is to take deep reflection of the vision of the founding fathers of this great organization and what role we can contribute of this great organization and what role we can continue to play in advancing their vision for the socio-economic development of the nation.
The chairman of the ECOWAS Ambassadors Solidarity Forum, His Excellency Oluwasegun Ibidapo Obe, went on to say,
we as Africans, we need to be brothers keepers, and we need to come together if we want to achieve the goal and the promise of economic emancipation and progress. So the idea of today is that we all come together, imbibe all the spirit of ECOWAS and the African Union so that we can speak with one voice, congregate all our economic policies, and then develop Africa for the rest of ourselves.
During the event, citizens of the various countries prepared their traditional foods, which were displayed for the dignitaries. Shehu Fofana, the public relations officer, has this message for both the ECOWAS leaders and citizens. ECOWAS Day celebration for this year was a colorful one as citizens from ECOWAS countries in the Gambia held a march past followed by a wonderful cultural performance to round off a memorable day. Reporting for QTV News, Lamin Alajfandin Dabo.
A former researcher at the Institute of Commonwealth Studies, Dr. Jagan Senghor, has written a biography of the former Vice President of the Gambia's First Republic, Hassan Musa Camara. The event was held at the QCT Conference Hall. Mam Jara Sise reports.
The book, entitled Servant of the People, depicts the life of the late Hassan Musa Camara, also known as Andrew David Camara, a politician who served in the First Republic. The event was well attended by dignitaries from different walks of life. Abdoulaye Touré, founder and chairman of Sayer Investment, spoke of the important role Mr. Camara played in serving the Gambia.
Hassan Musa Camara, as you will probably know, is one of the founding fathers of the Gambia and held the highest office of Vice President of the Gambia. From there, he accomplished a number of initiatives and eventually formed his own party, and also was a pioneer in the establishment of the fourth coalition of parties called NAD, and lived a very selfless life, very family-oriented, and a man of integrity, a man of wisdom, and a man of the people. That's why the title is so appropriate, Servant of the People.
Who had known the late Hassan Musa Camara for 46 years, had this to say.
From him, we learned very good values of leadership. He was a very modest gentleman. He was also very humble. He was also very contented. He was a very contented gentleman.
Hassan Jallow, the Chief Justice, urged young people to reflect on the late Mr. Camara's good qualities.
One of the things is, of course, integrity. It is extremely important especially for people in the public service, that they carry out their work honestly, they carry out their duties honestly with integrity. It is extremely important also for us to recognize that what is most crucial, important in life, is not to serve yourself, it's to serve the community. It's not, when a person is not remembered, often for what he has done for himself, you are remembered for what you've done for your community, what you've done for others, from your family to the community. That's what people remember. That's what history records. And that's what you get rewarded for. And so those are two very important lessons.
Hassan Musa Kamara, the son of a Fuller cattle breeder, played an important role in serving the Gambia. He was appointed vice president from 1972 to 1982 and also served as Minister of Trade and Finance and the Minister of External Affairs. He went on to found and lead the Gambia's People's Party, GPP, in 1986. Reporting for QTV News, I am Mamjara Isise.
Over 2,000 school bags and 50,000 exercise books is to be distributed to 5,000 students in the West Coast region. The beneficiaries will be the less privileged students in the lower and upper basic schools. Babakar C attended the event and sent in this report.
Sama Cairo Federation, a local partner of Child Fund the Gambia, aims to help the less privileged students to access basic needs in their education. Sunkaru Jata, the federation's manager, expressed delight, saying the materials came at the right time as schools have just opened.
We made an assessment of our children's results over the period, and from the analysis, we were able to gather this information that most of them did not have enough books at the time, so they missed most of their notes. So we decided to now help them provide those exercise books so that they will no longer complain of not having their notes on the right time and then having their notes as expected.
Bubakar Jamme, Child Fund sponsorship specialist, has this to say to the parents.
Sama Cairo would not want to see these bags with 35-year-old men. Instead of children using it to go to school, your husbands are using it to go to work. We don't want to go to communities also. And you know now, drug law enforcement agency, every arrest they are televising it. Please, we don't want to see this back in a drug-related issue on the television. So the bags are purely for children to go to school.
The former federation manager, Idrissa Cham, challenged the students to take education seriously.
You should always remember, learning is better than silver and gold. Why? If you get silver and gold, it would be difficult for you to go and learn. Even if you are to learn, somebody will have to take your silver and gold to give you knowledge. But if you are knowledgeable, you will continue handling your knowledge at the same time earning silver and gold.
Nyimasata Sane of Kafuta Upper Basic School thanked Sama Cairo Federation for the donation.
Today I am very happy to receive my material. I am very happy about this Sama Cairo. They brought me everything, bags and books. I am very happy because I am coming from extended family. My brothers and my sisters are crying for book and bag.
Sama Cairo, a local partner to Child Fund the Gambia, provides numerous development programs for school children and their families in Combo East and Central. The Federation also advocates for child protection, sexual and reproductive health, youth engagement, among others. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main news stories. Having warmly welcomed the prospect of not having to pay a fee to obtain the tin, it appears some are determined to make money from and subvert what is seen as a great goodwill gesture by the Gambia Revenue Authority. As public sittings continue, the TRRC hears from 3 more witnesses about the events and the after effects surrounding the April 2000 student demonstrations. Following calls for his resignation from some quarters, after a leaked letter he sold diplomatic passports for some family members, the Justice Minister has addressed the matter directly and publicly. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Have a pleasant night.